Hello everybody, Julia here, and I have another video featuring pretty pink posh supplies and stamps from Purple Onion Designs because they go together so beautifully, so I have another video for you here. First of all, I'm starting out by creating my background panel, and I've taped it to some cardboard here that's basically just old packaging that I've cut up. I didn't want to invest into a special board or something. You can just use sturdy cardboard. And I'm mixing some perfect pearl and water on this piece of acetate here. Usually I would use my mini mister, but it's in storage, and right now, because I'm still suffering from my move, at least financially, I can't afford to buy another mini mister. By the time you're watching this, probably I have purchased another one, but the month of April was just horrible financially. So when I was creating this, I did not have a mini mister. But if you mix water with perfect pearl and then just use that water for your coloring, then you can get a beautiful shine in your color, a beautiful sheen that glitters when the color catches the light. So here I'm using just, it was like a makeup pad. It was the only thing that I had handy here, and I dabbed off some of the color because it was too intense. I set that aside to dry, and you can see here my Stamp-A-Magic sheet, because I think the cleaning service that comes through our office where I'm living currently kind of threw away my original acetate sheet because it's unmarked. It's just a piece of plastic. At least I can't find it anymore, but I've already used it here. So I just grabbed a piece of sturdy acetate that I usually use to create shaker cards and cut it down so I can use it now with my Stamp-A-Magic tool here. So if you ever lose your acetate sheet from the original Stamp-A-Magic set, don't worry, this is how you can easily replace it. And it works like this. You stamp your image first on the acetate sheet, move the image to where it needs to go, remove the acetate sheet, and slide your stamp back into this green placeholder tool, and you'll get perfect placement every time. Now I set this aside to dry as well, and in the meantime I'm using my, I think that was mustard seed, and my blending tool here to create my own striped background. In times before my move I had a background stamp for that, but of course it's in storage. I had not anticipated needing my stuff so much, but timetables changed, and so I have, at least for a few months, I had more time on my hands than I anticipated, and I wanted to create. So I was like, how can I do this without having to re-buy stamps? So you can just use masking tape and use a T-square ruler to I used a T-square ruler to create marks like every 1/4 of an inch, so it would look somewhat, even. And then I just use distressing to put the color down, and with the brush here, I'm just blending it out, and that gives it a really nice watercolor look. I'm not worried about the center. The center is going to be covered up, so that's not a problem. Now for the coloring, this is watercolor paper, but I'm coloring with my Copic markers. While the Copic markers feather quite a bit on watercolor paper if you put down too many colors or leave the marker somewhere for too long. Feathering means that the ink seeps off to the side, so you won't have a crisp line. The great thing about using Copics on this medium is that through the feathering it blends really nicely, and I mean really nicely. Of course, at least I haven't tried it yet, because the last time, actually I did try it once, and that was doing lots of layers, but that just ended in the ink feathering left and right, and it looked horrible. So right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to put very little ink on top of each other to avoid that it will feather off to the side. So you can see here that I'm touching down the marker really quickly and very lightly, and then going over like with the next color, but I'm trying to leave some room towards the edge of the stamped image, so when it starts to feather, it feathers towards the edge and not past it. You'll have to experiment with your paper if you want to give this technique a try. As you can see here, it's super easy to blend from very dark to light, and it's a very soft gradient. You can't see where one color stops and the next one begins, so I feel that the effect is really, really beautiful. And yes, of course, it will absorb a little bit more ink than your Copic friendly paper, but I feel as long as you're not, like trying to color an entire background with one color, it's not really going to make any difference. Like, it will not use up your ink any much faster than if you're practicing on, Copic friendly paper. So I used my blue greens for the bird, finally another color than just yellow. And I'm using some warm grays for his face and his belly. And I was tickled pink. I love that expression. I was tickled pink because it looked just beautiful. Now, only after I had mounted this panel to my stripe panel, I realized that I should have mounted it the other way around so I wouldn't see the knot where I tied the yarn. So when I adhered the tag, I tried to cover up that knot. I didn't want to do it again. I was just too lazy to do it again. But I got some nice dimension here, and then I'm just flash mounting it onto my watercolored card base here. I'm trying to make sure that I'm somewhat even, because usually I'm not, but you know me. I somehow it works out in the end. And then I'm just adhering some sequins. I'm using the new 4mm Peridot Mist and Sunshine Glow iridescent sequins by Pretty Pink Posh, and some marshmallow sequins that have always been in the store, some of my favorites there. And of course, I selected the color of the card and the stripe panel and the watercolor background to match these new sequin colors, which you can also find in the Pretty Pink Posh store. All the products, as always, are listed in the video description below. That includes this Stardust gel pen, which I just love to use to add some dots if I want to connect elements on my card. And you can see this beautiful shimmer and shine that I get across the entire card. Here you can see the amazing stitching that you get with the new Stitched Essentials 1 tags, which are new to the Pretty Pink Posh store. They were just released, I think, maybe it was 2 months ago. I don't really know when you're seeing this video, but they were new at the time when I made the video. Here you can see the beautiful blending that I got with my Copic markers on the watercolor cardstock, and here is the entire card. And I was pretty happy with it. I thought it turned out really nicely. I hope you've got inspired, and if you like the video, leave me a thumbs up. If you have questions, leave me a comment. I hope you'll subscribe. There are lots more awesome videos to come. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you again soon. Bye bye.